Like this.
That works.
Like this.
That's pretty good too. What's up, AutoZoners? We're back for another podcast. We're back with Jack. Back in Jack.
Jack.
Well, we're not
in
Jack.
Back.
I'd kind of like to be
back
in Jack.
in Jack.
I wouldn't mind.
Jack in Black. Jack Black.
We made it. Yeah, so this podcast, we're going to do a little talking about cars we used to have.
Used to. Keyword.
Kind of wish I still had them all.
I kind of wish I had a couple of them.
I could start a car lot. If I had every single one of them, I could start a car lot.
It's crazy.
Pretty sick.
How old are you?
26?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cars.
Yep.
Not very many of them were nice. But the ones that were, I was in debt for. So that's pretty sick.
I've only ever had one car loan, so.
Yeah.
Technically, on my previous car, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of got lucky because you're working at a dealer.
Yeah.
You could buy auction cars for like $5 over what they
I
trade.
I got lucky, like the trade-in cars, I definitely got a good deal on. So I got a good majority of them, but I've also like gotten a lot from good deals on Marketplace.
I tried to buy a Speed 3
Yeah.
on Marketplace. It was super fucked. So it was listed for $4,500.
Yeah.
170,000 miles. Bone stock. Local. And I was like, it was posted 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe it still exists.
Yeah.
Person joined Facebook in 2023. New profile, only listing. And I sent them a message on Messenger first.
Yeah.
Nothing. And the description was in Spanish, and all it had really was like, call me, and then a phone number.
Yeah.
But Facebook takes that and says hidden information.
Yeah.
The only way you can see what they wrote is if you copy the link from the Facebook app, put it into Google,
Yeah.
and then you have to sign in on Google. Otherwise, it will continue to say hidden information.
Really?
And I got the phone number, texted it, and still no response. And I'm like, okay, either it's not there, it's a scam, or this person really doesn't want to sell this fucking car.
Yeah.
Or they're wondering why no one's reached out because they probably have the wrong phone number on there. Or
That or they don't check their messengers or something. Who knows?
yeah, but like if you're getting texts and calls from people,
Yeah.
dude, come on.
Especially to put it in like a number in the listing.
And then not answer.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't know how to take it down and they're annoyed that people keep reaching out. I don't know. But I was almost one car richer, and then I wasn't. Which is probably for the best.
Is it still up or is it gone?
It's still up. Still up.
Interesting.
No response. It's been 2 days.
Maybe that person died or something.
Possible. Very possible. I started like sleuthing in the photos. Like there was a house number in the back.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find it.
A lot of people have just like a blank profile only for Marketplace.
Those are sketchy. Because it's like, okay.
Well, I know a couple people that some of my friends do that.
Really?
Like where they don't
just
care
for
about
selling?
Facebook. They only
Oh, okay.
like Marketplace.
Yeah, because Marketplace is the best way to sell stuff.
Yeah.
100%. Like Craigslist is dead.
It used to be Craigslist. A lot of people still use Craigslist, but there's a fee now, I think.
Yeah, there's a fee to list vehicles, which is, they just shot themselves in the foot with that.
Yeah.
And then OfferUp. You remember OfferUp?
Yeah.
That shit was almost always a scam, and no one ever took down
A lot
their
of people
listings.
use OfferUp, I think, now for like trading cards and Hot Wheels.
It's like smaller stuff, collector's items.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a couple of vehicles on there and being like, this shit, like, is it still there? And I'd message them and they'd be like, no, I just don't know how to take down the listing. I'm like, oh, that's good.
crazy.
Thank you. Couldn't take the time to figure that out.
Yeah.
So let's kick it off, man. You want to go first?
I think, last time we were going to talk about our previous cars. So.
Previous cars we've owned.
Okay, so
We're going to build our car lot and
Yeah.
see how much wealth we could amass if we had not sold them.
I probably would have had like,
Couple milli?
no. Probably at least $250,000,
Yeah.
maybe.
Sounds to the right buyer.
But I'm still broke, so I haven't bought anything nice for myself.
That's funny. We'll start with your first car.
My first car, let's see, was a 94 Honda Accord. It was gold.
Inline 4?
Yeah, 4-cylinder.
Manual?
No.
Oof.
It was, so I was...
Were you a car guy at the time?
I liked cars, but I couldn't afford them. So,
Okay, but you were into cars, right?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, I've been yeah.
Because I was not. My first car, I wanted nothing to do with cars. I didn't even know how to check my oil.
really
Wild story. Yeah.
Interesting.
So continue.
okay. Well, I've been the car guy since I saw the first like Too Fast, Too Furious back in like 2000. So
Okay.
when I was like 5.
Yeah.
But I had a '94 Honda Accord. I got it after working all summer. My uncle bought it for me.
Sick.
I worked all summer for him for 3 months.
How much was
it? It was like $1,000.
Oh, okay. That's kind of a ripoff.
And I was like 16.
What was the work?
It was like lawn mowing and stuff. But it wasn't like, it was only on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd buy me like Burger King every day. And it wasn't like all day long. It was probably like maybe 4 or 5 hours a day. So
Still,
Not
$1,000
horrible.
at the end of a summer.
yeah.
He took you for a walk.
I was
Just saying.
16. Yeah. I was
Hey man, a car's a car. Game is game. Yep.
Exactly. First car, and it was definitely a big pile of shit. So I was at YV Tech at the time.
Okay, so you were at a technical school,
Yeah.
like a high school technical learning school.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I was in automotive. And dude, this thing needed everything. I had 200,000 plus miles and just puking from every orifice. Every suspension component was shot. And
Did it look lowered?
no, it was all stock.
With like blown struts. If you get enough homies in the car, you can get a decent squat.
I kind
going.
of get to that. I started like getting like small parts here and there, but I was broke. I'd just gotten a job at Dairy Queen. Didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
Did you
so,
flip the Blizzards?
Yeah, I flipped them. No, we didn't have to flip the Blizzards at the time.
Oh shit. Okay. Damn.
No.
a scam.
But I did make a lot of Blizzards and a lot of crazy food in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And so anyway, got the car, was, stupid high school kid. I managed to, I only had the car for 3 months before I blew it up.
Oh really?
Yeah. I was racing my buddy's BMW.
I'm surprised yours was the one to blow up.
Yeah.
Do you know if it had oil in it at the
I
time?
don't know it had oil.
Okay. All right.
And it's not, I think the time belt snapped
Oh,
and skunked everything.
that's a big one.
But I don't know if it snapped because the engine seized or what. So,
Well-
I didn't know anything about cars at the time.
Are those interference engines? Those
Yeah.
old Hondas?
Yeah.
Just all of them? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, yeah.
Yeah.
Blew it up. But at one point, I had like, remember Ghost Ride the Whip back in the day?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had one of my buddies hanging out the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
I got one person hanging out each window on the
Okay.
back, and
All right.
then on the passenger side.
Right.
I climbed up. My other buddy climbed onto the hood, and as I was driving, we were in a parking lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I climbed up on the roof, and I stood there and surfed the thing. And then when I got back down, I fucking cracked the sunroof and just cooked it. But yeah,
At
that
least you
thing,
had a sunroof. That's pretty cool.
yeah, it was cool. But yeah, I definitely treated that thing horribly and
That's really funny.
nuked it.
Did you put it on Vine?
I should have.
You should have. You would be rich now.
Vine's not even-
one hit Vine is
Yeah.
enough to be a YouTuber now.
I know.
Just saying.
Exactly.
I was born a little too late.
A little too late.
I missed out.
Vine, I was like right there at the like edge of it, but I didn't ever pay attention to Vine.
Yeah.
What about you? What was your first car?
I had a 2004 Pontiac Vibe, i.e. Toyota Matrix.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Had the 1.8,
Nice.
and it, I don't know. It was owned by like a lab corporation. So
Yeah.
a lot of highway miles, had 250,000 miles. That was pretty sick. But it's a Toyota.
Probably all highway miles.
Yeah, it's a Toyota. It can take it.
Yeah.
Turns out, knowing now what I know about those engines, they consume oil. I don't know if that one did.
Yeah.
I think it had been taken pretty good care of. But
Yeah.
so it had, Steelies on it with hubcaps. I bought new hubcaps, hoping it would look better. It did not. Stereo.
Walmart special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stereo was nice. Like the speakers were pretty good.
Yeah.
But the fucking head unit was dog shit.
Yeah.
Like I burned 30 different CDs to listen to music in the car.
crazy.
Yeah. Because it was the 1 year where there was no cassette player. So
Yeah.
you couldn't run an aux out of that.
Yep.
And there was no aux port. But the radio had an aux button. I don't know. I remember looking and looking and looking and Googling nothing. So
Weird.
eventually for my following birthday, 17th birthday, my parents bought me wheels.
Yeah.
Like the Les Schwab special, the black 6-spoke,
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Wheels. Fucking sick, dude. That thing looked awesome. And I discovered that those wheels, like, it's not just a paint job. I think the metal somehow is black.
Really?
Because I curbed the fuck out of that thing at Walmart.
Yeah.
And it scratched the shit out of the wheel, but it was still black.
Really?
I was impressed because I was afraid, like, fuck, it's going to be shiny now. It's going to look stupid.
Yeah.
It didn't. So I was impressed.
Interesting.
But I also got an aftermarket head unit in it.
Yeah. Was it a single din or a double din?
It was a double din.
Nice.
It wasn't a touchscreen, though.
Oh.
But I mean,
Still.
it was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that thing. It was great. All kinds of bullshit in it. And
It's like the one with the big knob in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Big knob.
yeah.
Big knob.
Yeah.
And then I think right the month after my birthday, where I got the wheels and the head unit, I totaled the fuck out of that thing. Going over a bridge in winter to go see the first Disney Star Wars.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
So that kind of dates it a little bit. Going, I come over this hill, and me and my buddy are just fucking screaming a song by John Bellion. Classic, right? Screaming, stomping, just vibing.
Yeah.
And I come over this hill, and it's a good 3,000 feet before the bridge.
Yeah.
And I look down, and I see headlights facing me in one lane, and then a bunch of flashers on the right.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, uh-oh. Slam on the brakes. The black ice started 1,000 feet before the bridge.
Shit.
Yeah. So I just didn't stop.
Yeah.
I hit these fuckers at 40, dude. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I
That's
was
crazy.
the 8th car in this pileup.
Oh, no.
All because these fucking females in a Jeep Wrangler
Yeah.
hit the guardrail, spun around, and didn't move.
Yeah.
They'd been there for like 10 minutes by the time I hit it. They had not moved.
They could have moved, though.
They could have fucking moved.
Yeah.
Because their car was fine.
Yeah.
But they were the headlights facing me, so I was like, okay.
Gotcha.
I hit a Jeep head on and probably die, or I hit this little Chevy Cruze. So I chose the Cruze.
Taking the cruise. Yep.
Didn't even dent the bumper. Really made me wonder about Pontiac's design, because my car was fucking crunched through to the engine.
Yeah.
And the Cruze didn't even have a dent in the bumper.
Really?
Crazy, dude.
And you hit him at 40?
40.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was anyone standing by the car or like...
Most of the people were out of their cars, like over on the walking path to the side. So they just watched me come in.
Wham, just nail the car.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then I'm like, damn, this shit sucks.
Yeah.
And me and my friend get out. We're all right. My dad comes. The cops come.
Is it dark out?
Pitch black.
Yeah.
Yeah. One other guy almost hit us, but somehow skirted through. It was a pizza delivery guy.
Oh, yeah.
He fucking hit the other guardrail to slow down.
Nice.
And then managed to squeeze through. Pizza probably wasn't free that night because he was hauling.
No.
He did his job. But yeah. Yeah, so after you blew up your car,
Yeah.
what'd you get next?
My mom, thankfully, she was awesome. She gave me... at the time, my grandma ended up not being able to drive.
Yeah.
So my mom took my grandma's car, which was a Ford Taurus, like a 80, like a 2000.
Like the blobby ones?
Like the big blobby ones. Yeah.
Oh, those things are hideous. Even the shows are
they're
unredeemable,
hideous.
dude.
Yeah, exactly. And so she let me drive her Jeep, which was a 96 Jeep
Wrangler?
Cherokee.
Okay, so the 4-liter straight 6.
Yep.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah, I was automatic, but
That's fine.
yeah.
4x4?
Yeah, 4x4.
Sweet. Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't lifted or anything, all stock.
Not when you got it.
Was a fishbowl. No, I didn't even do anything to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did.
No tint.
No tint. I did put a subwoofer in it and a head unit.
Okay.
And then I also cut the exhaust because it was rusty, and then plumbed it out right before on the rear door, on the right rear door.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's great.
It had a good little growl to it
Yeah,
for sure.
rumble for sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
But no, that thing was awesome, and I actually sold it. I had that until I moved here.
Really?
Yeah, and I sold it to someone like right over here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's funny. They still have it? You see it?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know where the house is, so I could just drive by it.
Yeah. Hey, you still got that Jeep?
Can I have that back?
It's worth a lot more now.
Yeah.
Or a kid fucking flipped it in the dunes. It's still out there.
Yeah, probably.
Recover it.
Yeah, no, that thing was a trooper. I enjoyed that thing.
Yeah.
That's when I started to really learn how to work on cars. I fixed some coolant leaks on it,
Nice.
and you put the head unit in and oil changes and
Your first head unit teaches you a lot.
At first, like, dude, like, you're like, oh my God, wiring. And then
Yeah.
after you've done a bunch, like, that's
It's so easy.
Wiring's so easy.
Crutchfield, for a $20 fee, will just wire it for you before they ship it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's fucking sweet.
It's sick.
Yeah, it saves you so much time.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
Bunk. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how you kept that one for a while?
Yeah.
Long time,
That one was a solid daily all through high school. And then when I moved down here after trade school, I had it. So I had that thing for like at least 4 years. But
That's
I think
pretty
it was,
good.
I think it was a trooper, and sold
Yeah.
it, still running. So
right.
second car was solid, but it was a 4-liter. You can't really kill those things.
That's true.
Those things
Yeah,
are solid.
the last good Chrysler product. Yeah. Following that, I got a '98 Acura Integra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it the 2-door?
Yeah. It
Nice.
was a coupe, auto, but it was a coupe,
What color?
just silver.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
I had a white one.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty gay. As Integras go, automatic, non VTEC, just it's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate it, but I drove the living shit out of that thing.
Yeah.
Like, I had a bunch of jobs that had me driving at the time.
Yeah.
And I am a tall fella.
Yeah.
Those cars are not made for tall fellas.
The seat does scoot pretty far back.
Yes, but not down.
Yeah.
So I lived within the half inch of clearance that the sunroof gave me.
Yep.
And the oil change sticker was out of my visibility. And remember, I didn't even know how to check my oil.
Yeah.
So I drove it for like 2 years
Yeah.
on the same oil. And I didn't notice anything until the low oil warning light came on.
Wow.
And I pulled over and I was like, Dad, what does this light mean? And he called our family mechanic because he barely knew.
Yeah.
He was like, that means it's probably bad. So I was close to a quick change place. I went to Jiffy Lube and they were like,
Nice.
dude, we got like a quart of oil out of this thing and it looks like diesel oil.
Just super black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it didn't leak on the ground.
Yeah.
So I don't know where the leak was coming from. I don't know how it disappeared. Probably drank it.
Probably consumed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially
But-
after not doing an oil change for
Long time.
a long time.
Well, you think the oil will get thicker as metal gets in it?
You would think.
Yeah. So that was that one. And then
Yeah.
I kept that one. And at the time, my dad had a 4th generation Eclipse V6,
Okay.
the GT, automatic. Coupe, the one with the leather and the sub, stock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pretty cool cars.
It's a 2-door, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love those
Did it have the
things.
big wing on the back?
No, no wing.
What about the little bump on the hood?
No,
No.
none of that. That's the 2nd gen and 1st gen. This is the 4th gen, the one with like the fat ass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the really ugly one with the
Yeah.
decent V6.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It has like 264 horsepower. Decent car for sure.
Yeah.
And I was like, Dad, I want your car. And he was like, no. And I just kept asking and asking and asking.
Cooked?
No, it was fine. It kept going.
Okay.
It's just, he was like, eventually he was thinking about selling that car. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'll give you the Acura. And he was like, I don't want your fucking piece of shit car. Bless his heart, eventually, for like my 18th birthday, he gave it to me
Nice.
and took the Integra.
Okay.
And eventually sold the Integra for something he wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gave it to me, which was dumb because that was when I got into cars.
Yeah.
And I'm
Especially like 265 horsepower.
that's a bit.
That's a lot for
That's
an
a bit.
18-year-old.
Yeah. And the Manumatic in it was
Yeah.
pretty responsive.
Yeah.
So like I'd be doing MyVac launches all up and down the streets, man.
That's
I was a
crazy.
menace. I drove like a fucking dick. At the time I had a buddy who had 2 Mustangs. And him and his dad would kind of flip cars. Like they would get straight 6
Yeah.
BMWs with a
Yeah.
misfire and then find out it was a broken valve after years of having it in their garage.
Yeah.
So they weren't really effective flippers.
They just kind of like bought cars like, oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
And then,
And to give you an idea of what they thought a good car was, the dad drove a Pontiac Aztec.
okay. Yep. Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. Some Walter White action.
yeah. And so I learned to drive manual in one of those V6, like late 90s, early 2000s Mustangs.
Yeah.
Loved it. Thought it was fucking sick.
Yep.
He taught me to change oil on his green one that was automatic. And then I was like, hey man, can we do an oil change on my car? So I learned to do an oil change.
Yeah.
And I was fucking hooked.
On the Eclipse.
On the Eclipse.
Yeah.
I was hooked immediately. I was like, I love this. This is some crack shit. Because I was headed to college soon
Yeah.
for music and film.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to do. Eventually, I bought a K&N cold air intake for it. He helped me put that in. Somehow, I specifically remember I sheared off one of the bolts. I managed to tighten something so much that I sheared off like a 10.
Just snapped it, yeah.
I don't know how, but that was my first experience with, I guess it'll have to do.
Yeah. You're like, meh.
Yeah, cold air intake.
Yep.
Got a check engine light. Because some cars just do that when you put short ram in them.
Yep.
Did that, immediately called the mechanic. Freaking out. What happened? My car broken. And he was like, you put a fucking cold air intake, you idiot? Because he hates, like, modified anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. He was like, just leave it. It'll probably go away. Sure enough, it did.
Yeah.
Just scooting, man. I was even worse then. Even more of a menace.
Yeah.
And then after
now
that,
you like more of a throaty engine noise.
Yeah, I was looking for an exhaust.
Yeah.
But I didn't know jack shit. And so my dad was like, you should just buy like a muffler on eBay and have a welder put it on. And sure enough, I did that. I bought a fucking fart can muffler.
Sick.
It actually sounded really good with those V6s. It did sound good.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine.
So I was loud in the front, loud in the back, had a sub, and I was just living, dude.
Yep. On top of the world.
Spray painted the vinyl door cards.
Sick.
But I did not give enough of a shit to mask it well.
Yep.
So, like, there was overspray all over, and it looked like dog shit.
Probably didn't prep it right either.
No. It was so fucking funny. That thing was hideous, dude. But at the end of the day, and it had, like, the peeling clear coat. Like, classic, JDM car from the middle 2000s, peeling clear coat. And I had spray-on clear coat that I would use. It didn't do anything.
You're like, yep.
I bought a wing for it, but I didn't realize that it required a body shop to modify it, attach it to itself, and then attach it to the car. It was not like just a stick-on.
It wasn't like just a...
No. So I spent $120 on a wing I couldn't fucking use.
Sucks.
That was annoying. But, yeah. I'll stop there before we get into my first Subaru adventure.
Oh, goodness.
We'll let you go next. I'm assuming you bought a second car during the ownership of the Jeep?
Yeah, so during after I blew up my Honda, I then was driving the Jeep for a while. And then, of course, I was around the car scene with a bunch of friends. Yeah. Like, one of my buddies had a Speed 6. His friend had, and it was lowered nice. Super quick. And then his friend had a Protege, but he was a tech at the time. Super clean, lowered.
A Speed Protege?
No, just a Protege. I think it was just a Protege.
They made a Speed Protege.
Did they?
They're pretty fucking sick. They're not
sick.
That fast, but they're cool.
It might have been a Speed Protege because it was lowered, manual, super clean, black with purple wheels.
Yeah, they made some.
Super clean. Like I'd buy one now.
Yeah, there's an orange one for sale.
Oh, really? I don't know if I'd buy orange. It's a pretty loud color.
It's a Speed Protege, bro. That was the first Mazda Speed. When that division started, the first one they did was the Protege. Slapped a turbo on it.
I'm a big wagon fan, so
okay,
that's why I like,
Well,
but
yeah, the Speeds weren't wagons.
Oh, really?
So he probably didn't have a wagon or a Speed.
Yeah, it was a wagon.
Okay,
so, but and then my other buddy had a CRX at the time.
There's one of those for sale around here too. Then, I want that shit bad.
Yeah, that's why I got. That's why I got the hatch.
Yeah, that's so cool. Dude.
I love the early '90s Hondas. So that kind of goes where I was like, I think I'm gonna get another Honda, and so I ended up finding an EF hatch, and dude, cluster of like this is what like opened my eyes to like making sure you're checking the title, clearing it with the DOL, everything. So I go, I find this hatch. I think it was on Craigslist. I find it, and it was some Hispanic guys selling it, and it was like their orchard car. Like they take it to the job site.
So it was stock.
Yeah, it was like 3 different shades of black. It was cut on springs, had steelies.
Springs?
Like the springs were cut. It was just horrible.
Okay.
And this thing was clapped. Yeah. And I don't know, I was like, I think it was $1,000 or something like that.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm like, I'm young, I got, whatever. I was like, it was cool to me at the time.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting it from the guys, and I didn't like think about it, but I got it, and I go to title it, and they're like, this isn't the original owner. And then I'm like, well, I don't know what I do. Like, I just bought the car. And they're like, well, you have to go take this to the original owner and then have him sign it. And so I tracked down the original owner based on the title I'd got, and another Hispanic dude. And then he signs it, and I go back, and then they're like, we can't transfer it because it's got a lien on it. of back child support.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, and so then I tell
much?
I think it was like 10 grand.
Holy,
Yeah.
an 11 grand Civic, dude.
Yeah. So, dude, it gets better. So I go with the. I tell the dude, I'm like, hey man, I need this title cleared so I can put it in my name. And so we go to the welfare office. I go with him.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we can't clear it unless you pay this off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what, am I just screwed? And he's like, well, I'll sell you my. He had an EG hatch, but
Okay.
it was like hammered and like horrible.
Worse?
It was better, but he wanted more money that I didn't have, and then it was also like a bigger project. Didn't always start. No power steering. Bunch of like it was just
Okay.
gross. And so I was like, no, let's try and figure this out. And so I waited a couple days, and the guy was like, I can't pay that off. So
Yeah, it's 10 G's.
kind of screwed, yeah. And I was like, well, okay, then just buy it back from me.
Okay.
And he was like, no, I think I'm just going to report it stolen. And then, so that way, if you get caught with it, you're going to get arrested. And I was like, that doesn't make sense because I have all the title paperwork. And I was like, and he's like, oh, like he kind of, because he was like,
Wait, he told you to your face, I'm just going to report
Over
it
text.
stolen. Fuck you.
yeah, over text.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, and so this is kind of where I'm like, okay, so next time I'm gonna call the DOL, make sure it's clean and clear title, whose person's name it is. I won't buy a car unless it's in the person's name that I'm buying it from.
Yeah.
Carfax, clean title, all that, like all the steps I need to do. And so we made a deal. He gave me $750 of the $1,000 back. I was like, whatever, cut my loss.
Yeah.
And then I just parked it on the road.
Yeah.
And walked away. Left keys in it and walked away. And he came and towed it.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was a nightmare and a half for my first EF hatch.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me tell you about a worse nightmare.
It's pretty crazy if it get worse than that.
Yeah. I was working at Mercedes.
Yeah.
And I, like yourself, had access to cars going to auction.
Yep.
However, I didn't have any money. So there was a WRX 2008
Okay.
manual, came in,
Sedan or hatch?
hatch.
Nice.
It was cool. It was lowered.
It's kind of like mine.
Yeah, it had Tyne coilovers, like nice coils.
Sick. Nice.
Decent wheels. They'd been plasti dipped, I think.
Got the plastic dip.
Yeah. Catback intake, question mark? And some sort of tune, but no access port. And I'm like, okay, I want this car bad. Because I took the leisure of test driving it,
Yeah.
as a tech does.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, hey, it's really crazy how that works.
Yeah.
Like you see a car get traded in, you're like, I want to drive that.
Yeah.
Go to the used car manager. Hey, can I test drive this real quick? Yeah, sure. Here you go.
That's
it's
how
like
it
giving some young kid keys to a car. You're like, yeah, it's crazy.
And then they warned me, they're like, it needs a clutch.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. I don't know what that means. I kill it a couple times out of the parking lot because I haven't driven a manual since my friend taught me 2 years ago.
Yeah. And
And
the fact that it needs a clutch.
yeah,
Engagement point's probably trash.
the engagement point was an on-off switch
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I got it going,
Yeah.
and I just mash it in second. And it's slipping. It fucking stinks. But it was still enough for me to be like, I need this car.
Yeah.
I need this car.
Yeah.
Has 170,000 miles, dude.
man, I think it's just hammered.
Original motor.
It's like the end of the Subaru's
Oh,
life
it's so
at
bad.
that point.
Yeah. And I had the Eclipse, which had been like a diehard, great car.
Yeah.
I had mismatched eyelids on it.
Nice.
Fucking
Nice.
awful. And I called my dad. I'm like, I want to buy this car. I want to do a loan. And he was like, they told me I needed a co-signer because I didn't
Had any credit.
have any credit, and they took it for 6, which is wild. They took it on a newer WRX.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll just give you this Eclipse.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, that would work. And I called my dad. I'm like, I think I'm going to give him this Eclipse. He's like, no. The fuck? I was like, no. I think I'm going to give him this Eclipse. No. And so, bless his heart again, he came and made a down payment on this piece of shit
wow,
for
nice.
me and took the Eclipse back.
Nice.
And he was like, he at least he got his cool car back.
Yeah.
My
After you
dumbass.
put a bunch of modifications on it. Your dad's just mopping his
matte black unpainted eyelids and fucking
crazy.
an exhaust and an intake. Oh my god. Wheel spacers had wheel spacers on
Sick.
it. Shit was goofy as fuck. And I had my car.
Yeah.
Barely drove. took it to Subaru. You were probably there.
Probably.
It was a silver, had red mud flaps, came in, the clutch was fucking hammered. They called me, told me the flywheel was cracked. Like, it was bad. They could tell it had been launched repeatedly.
Yeah.
And it had like a blown axle and a bunch of other shit. And I was like, I had just gotten a bunch of pay from basic training for the leave I had accrued.
Yeah.
So I got like $3,000 all of a sudden, and I was like, yeah, just put it in the car.
Yeah.
Stupidest thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I had the car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't pop. It doesn't crackle, dude. I got to find an access port.
Yeah.
I found an access port in someone else's car at the dealer, like a trade-in.
Yeah.
I took it out, and I was like, can I do this? And Cobb was like, it's $350 to unmarry it, because I was married.
Yeah.
And so I tracked down the original owner of my car through the network of Subaru people here, found him, traded him access ports, because he still had the one from my car that was married to it, so he had to get it unmarried as well. He was going to have to pay the same fee.
Yeah.
So gave him the other one.
That's come up. So saved yourself $350.
Saved mine. And then I was like, I need a catless downpipe, dude. I got to have that. It'll pop and bang.
Yeah.
Didn't have a tune for it. I just came, I found one. I just fucking put it on.
Oh, man.
It was the wrong one.
Yeah.
The angle was wrong, so it shattered on the subframe.
Nice.
And I like put some foam in there, and it melted.
Because that's good. Yeah, it's exhaust, super hot.
I was fucking driving the shit out of this thing, and it was just the biggest piece. And eventually I take it on a road trip. I'm going to Pullman, go see some friends.
Nice.
Low oil light comes on.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, that's not good. I had like a quarter of a quart in the back. I put it in, and I'm like, the light's off. We're good. I keep going.
Was it even on the dipstick, or did you even check?
I didn't check.
Nice.
The light turned off. Yeah. And then a little bit farther down the road, around a turn, light comes on. Oh, that's weird. Stop and buy some oil. Put some oil in it. I think I put like 5 quarts in it just because I didn't want it to come on again.
Didn't even. Oh my god.
And I just kept driving. I was like, yeah, whatever. Kept driving and driving. And eventually I was like, this payment's not worth this car. Because it's like burning oil. And I started learning enough about cars.
What was your payment on it?
It was like $200 a month.
Oh, yeah.
But I was a lube tech.
Yeah.
Living in an apartment by myself.
Oh, yeah.
So like, I was fucked.
Bills are tight.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I was like eating ramen and shit to pay for this car. And I was like, okay, it's burning oil. I started talking to more people who knew more about Subarus. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, this thing's probably going to blow up.
Yeah.
I need something else.
Yep.
So I contacted Kelly Blue Book, as one does, for the instant trade-in offer. And it wasn't what I owed.
Yeah.
So once again, bless their hearts, my parents were like, yeah, that thing's trash. We'll pay the difference. It was only like $500, but it was really fucking kind.
Still though, yeah.
Because I didn't have $500. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so...
Yeah, no, I think no kid who's starting out has $500 their name.
Yeah. And guess what I got back?
The Eclipse.
The trusty Eclipse.
Nice.
Yep. So that's where that story ends, and we'll pick up the next time I got rid of the Eclipse and then got it back.
Oh my god! Again?
Go ahead. Yes.
That's crazy.
No, this Eclipse, there's a reason I want one again, because this Eclipse was the best fucking car I ever owned, dude.
Just ran forever.
Yeah.
Old trusty.
It put up with me. That's
crazy.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go for it, man. What's next?
So after the whole Honda EF hatch debacle, I saved up some more money, and then ended up getting a 94 Acura Integra.
Nice.
It was white.
Those are the square ones, right? Mm-mm. Okay, they had the bug eyes?
No, it was the bug eye. I think it was like first gen bug eye.
Yep, that's what I had.
Again, super hammered. I bought this car from a guy from White Salmon, Washington. I met him in the Dalles.
Yeah.
Or no, at Biggs. Biggs Junction.
Classic.
Yeah, and looked at the car, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, my girlfriend at the time, she took me down. She was driving a 2006 Mini Cooper,
Oof.
I think. No, was it 06? No, it might have been newer.
Any of them are bad.
I don't know. It was a Mini. And anyway, we go down there. I'm like, yeah, I want this car, whatever. And
you still have the Jeep.
I still had the Jeep.
Yeah.
And this thing was... I should have said no. It grinded in fifth.
Oof.
Going in? Yeah, going in.
Okay.
There
could you do it with a double clutch?
I could get it to go in.
Okay, right.
Yeah. And then if you gave enough gas, it would pop out.
Okay, so both synchros are fucked.
Cooked.
Gotcha.
Yeah, straight cooked. And had quarter panel damage. It was like caved in.
Okay.
And
how did you buy it for?
I bought it for $2,500.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. And but it was loud. It was straight piped.
Oh,
it was
dude.
a manual.
Dude. Straight pipe Civics go.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
but it was non-VTEC, but super loud, go to like 7,500 RPMs.
Okay.
And it had wheels and it was lowered and
Okay.
it looked decent. And
The
interior was pretty decent.
Mods might be worth the 25.
Yeah, and it was pretty decent. Like the interior was pretty decent. It was all black and it was nice, sunroof, all that. I was like, fuck it, whatever. So I got it, drove it all the way back from Big Junction to Yakima. And I had that car for a long time. I fixed it up a little bit, fixed the body damage, cleaned up the engine bay, battery, stuff like that.
That's cool.
I actually burned myself on the exhaust. I got a scar right here for it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sick.
And then never fixed the fifth gear thing. So I ended up selling it to a guy. And I told him, I was like, oh, the transmission has, an issue. And the dude, we were in the mall parking lot.
Yeah.
And he literally drives it like down the end of the row and then back. And that was it. That was his test drive. And he's like, okay, want it. I'm like,
wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I was
What'd
like,
you sell it for?
I think I sold it for $3.
Nice.
So I made $500 on it.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
You put quite a bit into it though, right? At least the quarter panel.
Well, the quarter panel was free because I was at Auto Body Tech at the time, like in YV Tech.
Okay.
So I took Auto Tech and then I took Auto Body and then went back to Auto Tech.
All right.
So my teacher at the time, I bonded the piss out of that thing. Like I tried to pull it as much as I could with like slide hammer and make the body line, and like it was clean, nice and straight now.
Yeah.
I primered it white.
Nice.
So it didn't look horrible.
Yeah.
But ended up I sold that and then I bought a 2002 Acura RSX Type S.
Yeah.
That was clean. Bought it from the original owner, 120K on it. Thing was solid.
That was my other option when I got the Integra.
Yeah.
We looked at both.
Yeah.
But the RSX was rebuilt. And my dad said no, but I wanted that car so bad.
That thing, I want
cool.
another one. They're super solid, super reliable.
And expensive.
They're
for what they are.
Yeah, the price now is crazy, even like with high miles. But that's why I want to put a K-Series in my hatch, because the reliability of the engine is crazy. So, but what'd you get after your Subaru to Eclipse thing?
Okay, so after my Eclipse came back to me, my pride and joy, back on the Mivec, baby. Way more horsepower than that fucking Subaru had.
Yep.
Those rings did not exist.
Yeah.
I was like, I want something reliable and something cool. And I actually ended up getting it. It was a 2004 G35.
Okay.
4-door.
Oh, really?
Manual.
Yeah.
Those are kind of hard to
What
find.
color was it?
Deep blue.
Did you buy it from a kid named Alfredo?
No, not Alfredo. Alfredo's brother. Because Alfredo worked at Subaru.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the car before this kid, who was related to him, and I bought it from this kid. But I didn't know that until after
That's an interesting.
Alfredo reached out to me and was like, yo, that's my car.
Yeah.
And I immediately had a question for him because my oil was disappearing.
Yeah.
And the guy had done a fresh oil change.
Yeah.
And I was like, I looked into it because I took a loan, an auto loan from the bank for this car on Facebook.
Yeah.
It was like $6,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I want to know, does this thing burn any oil? Because I know these do that. And he was like, nope, it's all good. Texted Alfredo once I knew it had been his. He was like, oh yeah, it drinks all kinds of oil. I was like, fuck, dude. So annoying. I felt so bad. But it wasn't that bad. It was usable.
Yeah.
And it had like a muffler delete.
Yeah.
Tyne coils. 370 wheels. Like the forged.
Sick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
it
are
was
nice.
sick.
Those are
Low
nice.
profile tires.
Yeah.
I put halo headlights in it.
Okay.
I did a resonator delete because the resonator was vibrating.
Yeah.
And it was like full trombone at that point.
Yeah.
Classic, right?
Yeah. Classic VQ sound.
Yeah. And it already had an in-gen cold air intake, which was sick. Like it was a cool fucking car.
Yeah.
I drove that thing. I had it for years. But eventually when you would decelerate in gear, you would get an oil smell. And I had replaced the valve cover gaskets. It wasn't pissing from there. It was pissing from somewhere else. And I could not figure it out why it was coming into the cabin. And I just got sick of that over time. And so I traded it eventually. But I had it for a very long time.
Yeah. And
I really did enjoy that car. And if I could have kept it, I probably would have. Just because it was a nice fucking car.
Yeah.
It was cool. And the VQ platform, as much as they sound like
Trumpets.
goofy,
Yeah.
they're fucking cool.
They're cool and they're reliable too.
Yeah, they're
Super
pretty good,
reliable.
especially a 3.7.
Yeah.
Those are crazy. So that was the car I got after that.
Okay.
But I had one of the wheels eventually cracked,
Oh no.
and I was riding on the spare for a little bit. Wasn't really chilling with that.
Yeah.
Radiator popped. Had to put a radiator in it. Didn't know about the secret bleeder hole, so it was overheating, and I had to take it somewhere to get it vacuum bled.
Yeah.
Had a couple issues, and every time I had a problem, guess what landed in my lap? Fucking Eclipse.
Oh yeah.
He came back, baby.
Yeah. Every time.
Every time.
Old
And every
trusty.
time I was like, why the fuck did I get rid of this thing?
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, my next one, after you go, I'll talk about the car that I got while I already had the WRX.
Okay.
Because I didn't
Oh, so
learn.
you had like a.
I had two.
Okay.
I didn't learn.
Gotcha.
So we'll get to that, but it's your turn.
Okay. So I talked about then I got the RSX. So one owner, that thing was solid. And I actually had that car. The Jeep and the RSX is what moved me down here. But the RSX was clean. I built some custom headlights for it, put some
Cool.
retrofits in it.
Nice.
I got a real OEM DC5 Type R wing from Japan.
Cool.
I plasticked up the wheels. I couldn't afford coilovers at the time. I was,
Yeah.
moved to a new city. I was
Yep.
20 years old. Couldn't afford anything.
Yeah.
Lube tech. So
Yes.
put a cold air intake on it, and I doubled in with the sub.
Cool.
Tinted the windows. It was clean.
Yeah.
It was silver. Had the front end resprayed because it was had some body damage, but
Yeah.
overall
do.
pretty clean, super solid car. And I drove that thing for like 40,000 miles. Sold some guy in Pasco, and yeah, that thing took that everywhere. That thing was great. After I sold that, I ended up buying a 05 WRX wagon.
Okay.
That was my first step into the Subaru world.
Did you work at Subaru at the time?
Yep.
Lube Tech. Okay.
Yeah, his Lube Tech.
Did you buy it from Subaru?
No, I bought it from
A coworker.
a coworker who worked at Subaru.
Yeah. So it had been well maintained. Probably. Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
Well, that's the Hawkeye, right?
no, it was a Blobeye.
Oh, it was the Blobeye?
It was 05.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so
Okay.
it was Blobeye.
07 is when the Hawkeye showed up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 06 Hawkeye.
Okay.
06, 07.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But, yeah, so
So you had the last model of the Blobeye.
in wagon. But
So tuned stage 4.
stage 85. No, it was, I bought it from my buddy who, I think it was on Raceland coils.
Those are all right. Yeah.
But yeah, they were decent. Had an access port and I think had an intake and exhaust. I ended up, I think, putting a different exhaust on it. Got a new intake for it.
What was wrong with the ones that were on it?
It was, I think it was like it wasn't, it fit funny
Oh.
from what I remember.
Okay.
And so I did that, and then I stripped it all. I had the window tint stripped down, all redone, and then I got some new like XXRs or something like that.
Okay.
Painted those white, and then put some rubber on those, and then sound system
What color was the car?
silver,
Blue? Silver. Okay.
silver and white. Yeah, yeah, and actually I took that to my first car show on the west side. And I put it in, I think it was Seattle Fest or something like that.
Cool.
And so, yeah, that was my baby for a long time. I had fun in that. When I first got it, it was coming up on winter and it snowed. And I was on my stock wheels. And me and my buddy had his Audi S4, I think it was a B5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And we were in a parking lot doing donuts and stuff, just driving all around, doing dumb, all finding the big parking lots we could and just going crazy. And And that in the first parking lot I went to, it was so like high in snow I couldn't see the curbs, and so I just nailed a curb. Like I was going straight. Luckily I was going straight. Didn't do anything.
Oh,
to
okay.
it.
I was gonna say if you drift into one of those, that's...
Yeah, well, I ended up doing that on the second parking lot I went to, and that wheel, dude, everything else was fine, but the wheel was cooked, dude.
At least it was just a stock wheel.
Yeah, it was just a stock wheel.
Okay.
I ended up finding a spare set of stock wheels, and I ended up getting just the one. So I put that on, and luckily it was fine, but that thing was... The all-wheel drive was crazy for the snow. I could never experience anything like that.
Right.
It was a manual, it was a turbo, it was loud. Like, that thing was so much fun.
Yeah.
And then kind of in there, I did have a couple car flips. I flipped I think a 08 Subaru Impreza.
What do you mean flipped?
Bought it, needed head gaskets. I bought it for cheap.
Was this after you had moved into the main shop?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So you knew head gaskets.
I knew at this point like how to fix cars and work on them and stuff, and so I had flipped a couple of those like single cam Subarus.
Yep.
And that's kind of like how I bought the mods and stuff. And,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You know, so, and then at the time, I also had bought my uncle's Toyota. It was a '86. I guess just pickup. Yeah, SR5.
Okay.
Not the straight axle. No, it was 86. Yeah, 86. So it had the independent front suspension.
Cool.
It was blue.
Yeah.
Manual. And ended up, I rebuilt the trans on that. Fixed it up. Did the valve cover, oil pan, timing cover, timing chain kit on 22Rs, super common. And then, so yeah, I had the truck. I flipped a couple Subarus, and then I had the Impreza. Or the WRX wagon. Yeah. And then, so those were my babies for a long time.
That's a good spot to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you bought another Subaru.
No.
No? You bought another car in addition to the Subaru.
Yes, this is during the silver WRX.
Yep.
I bought a 1990 Eclipse.
Okay.
DSM.
Yeah.
With
like
the turbo.
The
4G. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't all-wheel drive. It was the front-wheel drive.
Okay.
It was the GST.
But it was like the more square boxy one?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
OBD1.
Yeah.
And it had an intake, aftermarket intercooler.
Nice.
Like kind of an exhaust, like muffler shop exhaust. And I didn't know very much about cars at the time.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that it was tuned. Like ECU had been shipped off and tuned and sent back.
Yeah.
But that thing, it was probably making a good 300 to the wheels. And I didn't realize that until I sold it. And the guy who bought it found the ECU and found like the writing on it.
Oh, really?
Because I had never looked.
Yeah.
But the trans was shot.
Yeah.
Like shot. It's sitting over there. The trans is.
Really?
First gear,
Yeah.
grind.
Yeah.
Reverse, you had to hold it. Second gear, had to hold it. Too much throttle, it would pop out.
Yep.
Fifth gear, grind. And there's videos, like some of the first videos on GridEngine are of me fucking around in it. And the tires were as old as me.
Yeah.
And I was just riding that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I went to Yak. I bought it in Sela.
Yeah. Okay.
Brought it back. It had been gutted too.
Yeah.
Like just completely gutted. Loud as fuck. No, just a hole where the stereo goes.
Yeah.
Super sick.
Nice.
And so I had that.
That's crazy.
And it like kind of idled.
Yeah.
Not really. Oh, fuck. It was cammed. That was the other thing. It was cammed.
Yeah.
So like this thing,
my
it was
God.
cool. It was a really cool 4G.
Yeah, and the 4Gs are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the original like iron block without the crank wobble.
Yep.
It was good. And I'm already getting off my list. While I had the first Eclipse, before the first WRX, before any of that, I bought a second gen turbo Eclipse from a guy for $900.
Okay.
No key. You had to cross wires to start it.
Was it stolen?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No title. Soft top was total shit.
That's
like
crazy.
if it rained, the inside was just getting wet.
Yep.
It was on decent wheels, but this fuckwad, when he had it towed because I paid way too much for it, brought it over, fucking dumped it off in my in front of my parents' house because I hadn't moved out yet.
Oh, man.
Dumped it off, and they were like, Simon, what the fuck is this? I was like, it's a project. I can figure it out. I'm a lube tech. I had no fucking clue what I was doing, dude.
None. Yeah.
I got it running. Would not go into first, no matter what you did. Had to start it in second. Not road legal, obviously.
Yep.
And that fucker texts me. He's like, hey, bro, I just left those wheels on it to get it to your house. And I was like, the listing had the wheels on it. I paid $900. I'm keeping the wheels. He was like, no. And he was like, threatened me vaguely, like, well, that's your parents' address, right? And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. I wish you had not dumped it off there because you wouldn't know where it is.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he came and left me a bunch of flat tires and steel wheels mix matched.
Really?
And took the fucking wheels. The only valuable thing on the car.
That's crazy.
After a couple months of the city getting on my parents' case for a dilapidated car in front of their house, they were like, Simon, you're getting the fuck rid of this thing. And I was like, okay, fine. Sold it for like $500.
Yeah.
Lost so much on that, dude.
Yeah, lost $400.
I was so annoyed.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were my Eclipse adventures, and I kept the black, the first gen, up until a couple years ago.
Really? Yeah. Nice.
But I had the motor out because I was gonna fix the trans, and fix the body, and then I had a kid.
And then that kind of took care of things right there.
Yep. But it was a cool fucking car. That thing was so fast. Like the torque steer was nuts.
Dude, the all-wheel drive ones, I think they hold records still.
Yeah, they're
crazy.
Nuts. They're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bump in the hood, so cool. Yeah. But so yes, that's more of that nonsense. And then after your next one, I'll get into my next car, which is something that we're both going to be mad that I got rid of.
Okay.
So
let's see. I had man. So we talked about, I had the Toyota and the Subaru. That's where we left off.
And you kept those for a long time. I'm assuming there were some more flips in there?
Yeah, I had flipped, I think probably like an Outback at the time, like a earlier, 05, 06 Outback. Just to make extra money.
Yep.
So I was kind of get chimed in there of cars I did drive for a while, fixed them up, sold them. But the next car I bought after that, so at the time, we're going to Seattle quite a bit, Portland for car shows and stuff, me and my buddies. And my buddy had a 14 S4,
nice.
Audi S4. And car stupid fast.
Yeah.
I rode it in and I was like, oh, I want something like this.
Is it manual? Manual?
No, it was the
dual clutch?
Dual. I think they're dual clutch.
I don't know.
I can't remember. But honestly, so the Audis, every Audi I've driven, smoothest transmission I've ever felt in my entire life. For sure. Hands down.
The Germans, that's what I'm discovering as I go forward. I thought the Germans made nothing good.
Yeah.
I've been enlightening myself recently. Apparently their transmissions
the PDKs
are nuts.
Solid.
Their transmissions.
Porsches,
just any transmission out of Germany has a high chance of being better than one from America.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I kind of want one of these, want something similar to this. And my buddy's like, get an S4. And I was like, I was looking and I was like, ooh, the S5. And I'd always liked the S5s. Even when I was in trade school, I saw an S5 every morning I was going to school.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh. And like it clicked. I was like, oh, I do want one of those. And so I found a white Audi S5 2014 with like, I think it had 60K on it.
That's not bad.
It was in Seattle on the west side.
Yep.
Kind of, north of Vancouver by probably 100 miles.
Almost Canada.
So, no.
No, sorry. That's okay.
Portland.
Yeah.
Down the 5. And the dude wanted 20, he had posted for 22, I think. Ended up getting for 21.
Yeah.
And this was right before COVID. And I bought the car. I took a $11,000 loan. I paid cash 10.
Okay, nice.
And so this is the car that I had a loan on. But that thing was awesome. I loved it.
You still have the WRX and the
No, I sold
this time?
I sold the WRX to my buddy.
And that's how you got part of the 10.
That's how I got the money to buy the Audi. And so I still had Toyota at the time. And then I bought the S5, and I drove it from there all the way home. That thing was stupid fast. It had a smaller pulley on it, intake, tune.
Nice.
No exhaust, but it was a valved exhaust.
Yep. Yeah.
But stupid fast.
Yeah.
Like supercharged, crazy. V6. I think it was making like 350,
Wow.
and it's all-wheel drive.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was quick. And
Yeah.
I ended up I was already on lowering springs, so I ended up putting I put like some, I think there were 19 by 11 wheels on it. Mm-hmm. Super wide.
Yeah.
Paid like almost $2,000 for the wheels and tires.
Yeah.
Put a carbon lip on it, trunk wing lip. Did some lip kits at the bottom, and then yeah, that's pretty much it that I did to it. But I think it was solid. I missed that car. That's one car that I might go buy one of them like down the road just because I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that car was so much fun. It was fast. Took it to a bunch of car shows too, but I never put it in a car show. I just took it to car shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Ended up, that kind of leads into, like I said, it was during COVID, and so, or right before COVID, and then COVID happens and car prices skyrocket. And
So you got in like right before.
I got it for 21. I ended up selling it to the dealership for
The one you worked at?
for I think 26, 27.
They gave you 27 on trade.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I made like $5,000 on that
Did
car.
they sell it?
Yeah.
For how much?
I think they
30
sold
something?
it for like 28 or 9.
So they gave you a really good trade.
Yeah, they gave you a really good trade.
Yeah.
I think they expected the market to keep going up a little bit more.
What did you buy with that trade?
So that kind of leads into how I got my now car, which is I bought, I knew I had equity, and so I did the trade numbers, and we'd got that Subaru, the blown up Subaru in.
Yep.
That goes with my current car. And that's when me and my buddy flipped the coin for it.
Right.
I landed the coin flip, and so then I sold my car to the dealership. I pocketed the difference between what I paid on what I had owed on the loan, and then I got the rest cash. Took that cash, bought the car, and then
Right.
So that's kind of, I had the car for 3 months.
That's it?
3 months, and I made like $7,000 on it.
That's pretty good. On a trade too.
Yeah, on
That's
a trade.
crazy, dude.
Well, technically it wasn't a trade; it was a street purchase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Well, that's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, so at the time my radiator popped in the G35, I had a buddy who had a brother-in-law that owned a towing company and a repo yard. Went over there, used his hoist to do my radiator. Still didn't bleed it properly. Rip. But got that done.
Yeah.
And in there was a purple, custom painted 99 Integra
Okay.
with a B20. It was a B20 swap,
Okay.
manual,
Yep.
wire tuck,
Nice.
like clean
Yeah.
Integra, custom paint job,
Yeah.
repo. Like I was in jail. The car needed to be moved. The tow lot got it. He sold it to me for $1,000.
They run and everything.
Running,
That's crazy.
like running. The
That's
speedometer
crazy.
didn't work,
Yeah.
but it was just the gear for the flywheel
Yeah.
was like spaced improperly. So I didn't even need a new part.
Yeah. You just had to fix the spacing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, coolest fucking car I ever had.
I bet. B20 swap ones would be crazy.
I couldn't
Pretty torquey.
I couldn't afford insurance because I was living in an apartment by myself again
Yep.
with the first gen Eclipse,
Yep.
payment on the G35,
Yep.
$1,100 payment on the apartment, and this purple car.
Yeah.
And I was going from this apartment to a house.
Yeah.
My first rental house, because it was cheaper to rent a fucking house.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so my dad was like, well, you could sell that purple Integra. I was like, I really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And eventually I had to.
Yeah.
It had headers too. Like it was a nice
It was
piece.
nice. Yeah.
And I fucking sold it to move into my first house.
I'm surprised you didn't sell the G35.
That's the thing. I was like, that was my daily. So,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is the fast car. I should keep this.
Yeah.
I want that car back so fucking bad.
Is it still here in town?
Last time I saw it was like 4 years ago. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. But holy shit, I'm annoyed that I sold that.
Yeah.
Really annoyed.
The one that got away.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that was one of my other endeavors. Eventually, I needed a truck to go over the pass to go see my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because she lived over there at college. And I bought a 2002 Sierra 2500 with a 6-liter.
Nice.
4L80.
Yeah.
Mismatched canopy.
Nice.
Super sick.
What
And
color was the truck?
like the deep, ugly gray.
Okay.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
That fucking thing, I think the torsion bars for the front suspension had been cranked to shit because it was level.
I'm
but
sure.
there was no leveling kit.
Oh, man.
And I didn't know about rust at the time.
Yeah.
I hadn't learned that lesson. But eventually I crawled under there and I was like, it's mighty brown under here. That's weird. And eventually it started having acceleration issues.
Yeah.
And it didn't throw a code. So I was like, I'm not going to check for codes. I just assumed it was the fuel filter.
Yeah.
Rounded that shit because it was rusty. Sent it to a shop. They custom made a new fuel line. Fucking get it back.
Shit.
Still doesn't work. Because my dumbass didn't say, figure out why it doesn't accelerate. I just said, fix the fuel filter.
Yeah.
It was the mass airflow sensor. And there was a code.
Dang.
Yeah.
So you did all that for
dumbass.
nothing?
Dude,
yeah.
it was like $1,000. It was so stupid.
Oh my
dude.
god.
And
That's crazy.
I know. But I had that thing for so long.
Yeah.
The flex plate cracked. So it fucking ticked.
Started to make a horrible noise.
Yeah, it just tick, 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 tick.
Yep.
Still drove fine.
Yeah.
Started fine.
Yeah.
And it was cracked between two of the holes. So it wasn't going to spread and shatter or anything. It was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So I just fucking kept it. I kept that thing for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Awesome truck. Eventually I got bigger wheels,
no
oversized
tranny
tires.
issues?
No, the 4L80 is fine. It wasn't the 4L Slippy.
Oh, it's not the 4060.
Yeah, 4L Slippy.
Slippy.
But the that truck fucking rocked.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I'd kept it because now, like, I'm at the time I was working for the military, traveling all the time.
Yep.
Didn't have the time or the confidence to get in there and fix the flex plate.
Yeah.
So I just left it. And eventually I was like, I want rid of this thing. And my wife was pregnant. So we were like, okay. She was driving a little 04 Camry, which was great.
Yeah,
But
those things
I
are
wanted
solid.
I wanted her in a bigger rig.
Yeah. More safe.
Yeah, more safe. So we went and got a 2014 Tahoe, traded in the truck and the Camry. And the Tahoe was great. Yeah, it was pretty good. And you could tell the motor had been rebuilt. Like, the heads had, like, numbers on them and shit.
Oh, really?
And there were no oil leaks at all,
Nice.
even though it had 140,000 miles. Like, it was a solid piece.
Yeah.
It was great. And I got the cylinder deactivation turned off.
Nice.
Put on a MagnaFlow 30 series.
Yeah, the cylinder, the active fuel management or AFM, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That thing takes out more engines than
It's
anything.
horrible.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
But luckily on Chevys, you can generally turn it off and be okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Nice.
And yeah, we used that thing forever. It was great. It had the 6L80. I towed with it.
Nice.
The only reason we got rid of it is because I did not do my research properly for the towing capacity. And it was the LTZ with like the air suspension in the back. And I thought it could do 14,000 pounds, which I don't think there's a Tahoe on the planet that can do that. So we bought this 8,000 pound camper.
Yeah.
And on the way home from the camper dealer locally, like the rear axle, you could feel it swaying.
Yeah.
And I was like, this don't feel right. I got home, did some more research. The
like
towing
5,000
capacity was
pounds.
6,000 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck, dude.
Oh,
we
no.
can't leave the house.
Yeah.
So we bought the F-150 that we have now, 2018.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that one last time. But that was kind of that series of events. But what I got rid of the G35 for was a 2015 WRX.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Blue one. 90,000 miles. They're not a downpipe on those, but like high flow cats.
It's a downpipe, yeah. I mean, J-pipe, kind of downpipe.
Yeah, J pipe. I think
Yeah.
that's what they call it because it doesn't
Yeah.
go down
Yeah.
because the turbo's in the front where water can get in. It's super
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Cobb intake, super loud. Those ones are fucking loud. The twin scroll on those go hard. So super loud. Cobb air intake.
Yeah.
High flow cat J pipe. NVIDIA catback.
Yep.
Short shifter. Shift knob. As if that matters.
Just upgrade.
Yeah. And then lowering springs because the suspension in the 2015 specifically is really stiff. So with lowering springs, it rides great.
Oh, nice.
And it had niche wheels.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
that's what my Audi had.
yeah, nice fucking car.
Yeah.
But it would grind if you downshifted from 6th to 5th. That was the only problem. Drove that thing. Eventually, I was like, it's tuned, obviously, but I want my own access port. I want to monitor my AFRs and all that
Yeah.
shit. I don't know what kind of tune is on it.
Clear tune, your clear codes and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Bought a access port. plug that sucker in, because my dumbass was like, it's probably like stage 2. I can just do an OTS.
Yeah.
Come to find out, this thing had a full EGR delete. And those little flaps for like initial idle, fucking gone. Like internal components.
For the,
internal components gone.
For the TGVs,
I cleared the tune, put my own tune on.
Ran like hot dog water.
Dude, all the lights. Fucking Christmas tree. And I was like, my wife was already pissed because she was pregnant. I had spent $600 on this fucking access port, and my car was unusable.
Yeah.
I'm shitting the bed. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I am not trailering this thing to Portland for a tune.
Yeah.
And I'm fucked. I ended up going with an E-tune. Clark Turner tuning.
Okay.
Best experience of my life.
Really?
That motherfucker knew his shit. And I got a real tune, and like that car was fucking fast.
Yeah.
And it was at that time I realized the clutch was slipping, because I had never had enough power before on whatever tune was on there. But once I got a real tune, clutch was slipping. Super sick.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, I'm not doing a fucking clutch on this.
Oh.
I did an oil change, like my third oil change. I'd had it for a long time.
Yeah.
Turn it on, blue smoke.
Oh no.
I didn't know why, because I had just changed the oil.
Yeah.
And I did some research. It was like, well, the turbo and the oil pan share like an oil sump, right?
Yeah. Well,
So-
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't fully understand it, but they were like, it's got if you overfill it, it can do that. It'll get zucked into the turbo. I didn't want to take that chance. Even though the blue smoke kind of went away after I had been looking at other options,
Yeah.
because I was like, I got to get the fuck rid of this thing.
Yeah.
Because,
You never know. It's a Subaru.
yeah, I don't know why it's shooting blue smoke out of the tailpipes.
Yeah.
I don't want to do turbo. I don't want it to be rings. I don't want it to be any of that.
Yeah, common for rings, ring line failure.
Yeah.
Turbo. Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not fucking with it. Could just be the oil change, but I'm not fucking with it.
Yeah.
I got to trade it in before it's totally fucked.
Yeah.
And I got a Q50 Infinity.
Those are nice.
Yeah. Twin turbo.
All-wheel drive.
3-liter.
Yeah.
I had the rear wheel drive.
I think those made like what, 400 horsepower?
The Red Sport did.
Or the yeah.
Mine had 300, but with a tune, they can make 400 because it's the same thing. Just one sensor in the turbo is missing. That's the only difference. I did all kinds of learning. They did have the porous blocks.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool, where like the coolant would just seep through the block into the oil.
Really?
There was a recall for that.
That's crazy.
They had some serious fucking problems with those engines, and
That's
I was
crazy.
scared shitless the whole time I
It
was
looked
driving it.
nice too, like interior, exterior wise. Like,
Super nice
Super
car.
clean.
Like, surround camera.
Yeah.
Super fucking sweet. And I was like, I loved it. Drove it so gently because I was afraid the turbos would go, because the turbos on those were pieces of shit.
yeah.
And just all these problems. And I was like, I shouldn't have fucking bought this, dude. I didn't need more turbos, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had enough problems with one.
Yeah.
Now I got two.
Yep.
And that
And
engine,
a V-style engine.
yeah, that engine, if you take the cover off, they're water to air intercoolers. So you have all this piping, you have intercoolers, you have everything on top of
like
the
a
car.
bunch of hoses
You can't even see the motor, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
crazy.
And I had bought an extended warranty with it, my dumbass. And I found oil in the charge pipes.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, these turbos are probably going to go. Can you guys fix it? They were like, not till it blows up. That's when I learned not to buy extended warranties.
Yeah. Yeah. They can come in clutch sometimes.
Yeah.
Just depends.
yeah.
It also depends on if you have the money to fix it or not.
Yeah. I had been doing oil changes at the dealer because the first warranty I had on that Sierra wouldn't cover the flex plate because I didn't have record of doing oil changes.
Yeah.
Which is super fucked.
Yeah.
Because the flex plate is not oiled, bro.
Yeah. Literally, yeah.
So dumb.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so I was paying for oil changes at the Nissan dealer.
Yeah.
To make sure there was record of it.
Super expensive. Yeah.
And I went to them. I was like, hey, there's oil in the charge pipes. I'm worried about these turbos. They were like, unless you consume a quart in 1,000 miles, we ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. And so I eventually,
sucks.
1 year later, I pawned it off for the SS because I was like, I don't want
rid of
turbos anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't want turbos anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turbos are a headache, dude. I mean, I own I got my diesel's a turbo, but I mean it's a diesel, so I put a new turbo on when I rebuilt my STI.
Yeah.
My wife's car is a turbo, but that thing's super easy to replace if it goes bad. Plus it's cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, turbos, they can be fun, but they can also be headaches, and they're
Yeah.
expensive too usually. So.
Yes. Yeah, they are.
But-
Yeah. And then, do you have any other?
I have. So through that time, I'd always I flipped Outback Subarus, stuff like that. A lot of Subarus. Ended up selling my current truck, my old Toyota.
Yep.
For my current truck.
Yep.
I got lucky because I was like, I'm gonna go on the offensive. I'm just gonna sell this. I don't need a truck at the moment, and I know that there's gonna be a truck out there that I want to buy. And a month later, my current truck showed up.
Yeah.
So it was perfect timing.
Yeah. What did you get for the Toyota?
$5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things.
Right.
Toyota Tex. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
But it was super clean. I took care of it. Super, really nice. And I got a flip. This was my biggest flip.
Oh.
And this is what actually helped me get into our house.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
So, always had a good savings, was pretty diligent about saving, and ended up getting a 86, I think it was an 86 Volkswagen Westphalia.
I don't even know what that is, bro.
It's, you remember the Volkswagen buses?
Like the air-cooled ones?
Yeah. The mine was water-cooled.
Okay.
Look like that.
With the camper?
Yeah. Full camper. So,
Wow.
full pop-up camper setup.
Okay.
It was all-wheel drive, had a locker. One locker.
Shit.
Some of them
From the
came.
factory?
Yeah, some of them came with 3 lockers. Some had, this one had. No, I think this one had 2 lockers. There's a
Both diffs?
There's a 2-knob. There's a 3-knob one, which is the center diff, and then front and then rear. I think mine was only a 2-knob.
Okay.
I think. I can't remember exactly. I know it was just one option less than what it fully optioned was.
Okay.
Had a stove, had a sink, had hookups and everything from factory. I got it from my uncle for $13,000.
Okay. So it was
And-
already in decent condition?
He was already in, he had it for 5 years. He found it in Prosser, in a barn find, just rotting away.
Oh, shit. Okay.
He stripped all the glass out of it, stripped all the interior out of it. He put sound deadening through the whole thing, redid all the window seals, got it window tinted on new glass in some sections, redid the canopy cover.
Yeah. The canopy's probably expensive.
He did a lot of stuff. Redid all the seals. And but he didn't do any of the mechanical stuff really.
Okay.
And so
Was it still a flat 4 in
yeah,
those?
flat 4. It was
Water-cooled?
manual 4-speed. Yeah,
Okay.
water cooled.
Yeah.
In
the
all-wheel
back,
drive.
right?
Yeah, in the back.
Okay.
So you had an engine cover and all that stuff, and but it was a synchro. So meaning it was four-wheel drive. That's the really popular ones are the synchros. They go for a lot of money. And it was super clean. Had a little bit of body damage on the sliding door. I pulled the trans, put a new clutch in it, pulled the fuel tank, which on those is a nightmare. I will never in my life touch one of those ever again, ever. Unless I'm putting a fuel cell in it. So you have the body.
Yeah.
And then you have the engine and the trans, and the fuel tank is above it, and this little triangular.
So it's fit.
Dude, it's snug up in there.
So you got to drop everything to get to it.
Yeah, I had to drop. I was able to keep the engine in. I just had to tilt it. I pulled the trans. At this point, too, there's you have huge coolant lines in there, and they're plastic through the bottom. Of
Thank
course,
you, Germany.
Yeah, German. yeah. And so there's a coolant coolant pipe upgrade. They're all metal. So I put new hoses, new coolant lines, all that stuff when I was in there. Pulled the trans, did the fuel tank, fuel pump, all that stuff. Because what would happen is it was leaking fuel. And so I had to replace some lines, and I was already in there pulling stuff. Yeah. So I just replaced everything that was in there. I got that back up in there finally, and cleaned it up, detail. I drove it for a little bit, every once in a while, because it was a collector's car.
Yeah.
Took it to some car shows, show it off. It was cool.
So it was solid inside and out.
Yeah, and now at this point, there was no leaks on it. The trans was I had fresh fluid, fresh coolant bled, some upgrades to it, and ended up I sold that for $28,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
To who?
To the owner of Bellingham Ford.
Okay.
Yeah. And super nice guy. I think he still has it.
Yeah.
He ended up doing a lift kit on it. He did put wheels in it, a canopy.
Okay. All right.
Did put some money into it.
Yeah.
I mean, he owns a dealership, so he just should probably hand the keys to someone and says,
whatever.
Do this.
Yeah. Do this.
And dude, super nice guy.
That was enough to help with the down payment on the house.
Yeah, it helped. We ended up putting 40 down on our house.
And that was 28 of it.
Well, I didn't put the whole 28. I think I put 20 of it.
Okay.
And then I kept the other 8 for myself.
The last 2 cars I recently got rid of. Mm-hmm. I had a 99 F250.
Yeah.
7.3 manual, short cab, flatbed. Mm-hmm. Super cool truck.
Sick.
Got it for a full labor trade to a dealer.
Really?
But it had been on his lot for 2 years.
Yeah.
And nobody had bought it. And I was like, what's going on here? That's a little funky.
A little suspicious there, huh?
I test drive it.
Yeah.
And it's misfiring like crazy.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? I don't own it yet. Let's try the good old Italian tune-up on this baby. I fucking floor that shit in third. Turbo lag, misfiring. It's just chugging.
Hating its life.
And then that injector fucking snaps on. Fucking just take off.
Perfect.
I was like, she's good.
Yeah.
Turns out anytime it's cold, it'll run like that. Because the glow plugs are shot.
Yep.
The injectors are shot.
Yep.
But that was after.
Cylinders are cold.
After I'd taken it.
Yeah.
Got fucked. And, dude, the parking brake didn't work.
Yeah.
Because the cable had snapped.
Yep.
So I replaced the cable. And the little retainer between the rear cable and the front cable.
Yep.
Every time you use the pedal enough to hold the truck still, snap off. It just wouldn't work. And I go to the back and I look, all rear drum brake parts are new. So somebody had fucked the adjustment on that.
Yeah.
Because it was unusable.
Yeah.
Super annoying. And so I had to
My
leave it in
Toyota was
first.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had to leave it in first. Whenever I parked, had to wait for the glow plugs if it was even kind of not warm.
Yeah.
And I'm talking 2 cycles of the glow plugs in 40-degree weather. It was bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it would still miss until it got up to temp.
Yeah.
Leaked oil, and it blew a quart of oil every 100 miles through the turbo.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was a piece.
I bet.
Not to mention, one of the steering arms in the front, the nut on the ball joint was just missing. Mm-hmm. Just missing. So when I first was driving it, I was towing a trailer.
Clunk, clunk, clunk.
No. You step on the brakes, you pull off the road. It would just yank you off because the only thing keeping it in was the suspension arm above it.
Yeah.
So you'd step on the brakes and it would just go and the ball joint would pop out a little bit.
Yeah.
So that wheel would just go like this.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It was fucking sketchy.
crazy.
So I went to Ford, got the right nut.
Yeah.
The threads weren't wrong. It was just missing.
Huh.
So I put it on there.
Yeah.
And so it kind of technically drove safe.
Yeah.
Wheel bearings were humming.
Yeah.
If you didn't have the front left locker on, the axle would shake enough to clip the it would clip the knuckle.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
shiny
Yeah.
in there. It was a death trap.
Yeah, I bet.
And I was
sounds
like
it.
I got fucking ripped off.
Yeah.
Because I owe this dude $5,000 in labor, and I need rid of this fucking truck because I can't leave town in it, which was my plan.
Yeah.
And I just, it sucked. It was annoying.
Yeah.
And at the same time, one of my first customers, when I opened my shop, had an 07 Suburban LTZ. She was like, it leaks a bunch of oil, so I just parked it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'll take it off your hands. It's got wheels. It's decent on the inside.
It's nice, yeah.
Nice enough.
Yeah.
It was the rear main. And
Unfortunate.
I did everything else first.
Yeah.
Because, I'm talking, you park, and there is a puddle this big.
Shit.
It was bad.
Really?
And anytime you come to a stop, that oil had been blowing onto the exhaust.
Yep.
So it smelled bad.
Yep.
And all the brakes were shot. So I put all new pads, all new rotors, a bunch of work. Suspension system didn't work. Replaced the compressor. That didn't work. Replaced the rear shocks. That didn't work. Front ball joints were shot so it would shake on the highway. Replaced the front control arms. Replaced the oil pan gasket.
That's crazy.
And this was the last straw for me. Replace the oil pan gasket, which requires you drop in the front diff. Put everything back in.
Yep.
Very carefully. I did everything right.
Perfectly, yeah.
Miscommunication codes between the engine and transmission.
Oh, no.
Hadn't even touched the wiring harness.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, for the life of me, figure it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't fuses, couldn't reset anything. It just wouldn't talk nice. And it was shifting like shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, 200,000 miles. I'm about 1,500 cash into this thing.
Yeah.
Another $1,000 in parts into this thing. and I don't fucking want it anymore. Because after I did that pan and it was still leaking just as much, and I finally found out it was the rear main.
Super annoyed.
So annoyed.
Yeah.
So annoyed. And it started misfiring.
Yep.
Because I had taken the intake manifold off to do the valley pan in case it was that.
Yeah.
Like I had resealed every orifice except for the rear main. And I was like, this ain't it. I took that fucking truck. I took that fucking Suburban. I went and I traded them shits in.
Yeah.
On an 07 Escalade.
Yep.
Because it's got the 6.2 liter with the 6L80, like much better powertrain, blown head gasket.
Escalade, yeah.
Yeah.
But then you just bought another lemon.
Yep.
Yep.
I am so pissed. And the salesman is texting me right now. He's like, hey, if you want out of that thing, like I just got a Silverado 1500 in. Mm-hmm. It's like lifted to shit with like a fucking brush bar on the front and a winch.
Super
He's like,
hammered.
Drives like a dream, so clean. 13.
Yeah.
I'm like,
what year is it?
Fuck no, 13.
It's a 2013? Mm-hmm. And he wants 13 for it?
Yeah. 141,000 miles, but I can tell it's been treated like dog shit. It's got a Harley Davidson sticker on it. I know those motherfuckers aren't nice to their trucks.
Hell no.
No. And he's like, it's going to go fast. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
I'll see that guy at my shop later.
I don't want it, yeah. Next thing I'm buying something more reliable.
I know, and it's crazy because this same dealership, they're the ones I bought the WRX from. They're the ones I bought the Tahoe from. They're the ones I bought the F-150 from. I've bought a lot of shit there, and usually it's like a 50-50. That Tahoe was fucked. Yeah. The spark plugs, the porcelain was cracked. Yeah. The radiator was leaking, all when I bought it. So that was kind of annoying, but like, it wasn't that bad of a deal at the time because I bought it in 2020 when shit was nuts.
Yeah.
But dude, I am so annoyed with that dealership. And all this time with my shop, more of the major repairs that cars need come from them.
Yeah.
Like I had a Mini Cooper right when I first opened, came in. I bought this car from this dealer and it's got all kinds of codes, runs like shit. I don't know what's going on. They replaced the turbo. I start diagnosing this thing. I spent like 4 hours on it. The O2 sensors are backwards.
Oh my God.
That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm like, you successfully installed a turbo that is not leaking, doesn't have problems, but you fucked up the O2 sensors.
Yeah, put them backwards.
Best part is, it went to Mini in Seattle.
And they couldn't figure it out?
They couldn't figure it out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they charged him like $2,000.
Well, it just goes to show that just because you're paying dealership price and going to a dealership doesn't mean you're going to get the best technician work on it.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
But it was just crazy. Yeah. And then that STI that we worked on together last week, guess where it was from? Same dealer.
Them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I need to stop going there probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find a new dealership. What you should do is just sell everything that's trash, private party, and then buy something nice, private party.
Yeah, I could do that. But then I wouldn't have all these things to drive around.
But they're all broken. They'd work.
They work. I'm not leaving town in them, but they work.
That's fair.
Hey, man, it's the perfect time for me to test out head gasket sealer.
Yeah. See if that works.
Yeah, I'll bet you it will.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to destroy everything else.
Nah.
It's gonna.
I think there's actually probably already some in there because the thermostat doesn't. It's either not in there or it's like seized open by a bunch of head gasket sealer.
Yeah, no, that stuff's trash.
It's just sand.
Everything. Yeah, it is. It's pretty much just sand. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's not good.
It's a shit show. It's a shit show. It's so sad. And so, yeah, that's the rerun of all the cars we've had.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
what a ride.
That's pretty much. Yeah, I think that's all I've had. I mean, I've had a bunch of bikes in there too, but
yeah, I had a couple of go-karts.
Yeah,
they're pretty fun.
Yeah, the toys I lose all my money on. Those things, you never get your money back from those shits.
Yeah, no, I want a Razor real bad.
Yeah, I want to get a 2-door Razor.
Yeah.
I might find one at an auction that's crashed and try and fix it.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Getting pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Well, hey, thank you guys for watching. I know this was a long one. I hope you got some joy out of hearing about our mishaps or fortunes in some cases.
Fortunes and mishaps, I mean, goes both ways.
Yeah. Subscribe to both of us. Our links will be in the description.
If you're going to buy a car, check the title. Make sure it's clean and clear. No liens.
Yeah.
Check the Carfax.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence.
That's pretty important.
Yeah.
And if you buy from a dealer, do some research on how dealers work first.
Yeah.
I've been learning that shit's wild.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy some pretty trash cars from a dealer.
Yeah.
Just because it's a dealer doesn't mean anything.
Very true.
They can get auction cars from East Coast and they're just rusted through, so. You gotta pay attention.
It's clean. It came from Virginia, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only holes in the frame. It's fine.
Yeah, the salt cleans everything.
Yeah.
good for it.
Fuck, I forgot. That's crazy. Add a little pepper. You got yourself a steak, man.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's fucking